Hello and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report with Hofstra Baseball Coach John Russo. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Let's get right into it. Weekend series at Western Carolina down in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Headed south and came in encountered snow. So tell us about that. Could have been a fun trip, actually. 14 hours on the bus, I think.
It was a long trip, and I talk to the kids all the time about life experiences, and to play Saturday's game and snow for about 6 innings was a pretty neat experience, I guess. And in the morning, I would have thought we would have got snowed out. There was about an inch or two on the field, but it melted, and we came out. Played in 34-degree weather, I think, on Saturday, and 32-degree weather yesterday. So it was a tough weekend, cold-wise.
Well, let's get to the games. You go on that first day. It was supposed to be a doubleheader. Due to the weather, they changed to a single game. You give the ball to Joe Berg, #1 starter, goes out, another quality start. You win 5-2. Let's just talk about Joe a little bit. 6 innings, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, only 1 earned. He's really turned on his last 2 starts.
He has. I thought he pitched really well at the end of last year, and he had a rough first start against Oklahoma after the first inning, but his next 4 innings were really good, and beats Bakersfield Friday night, 1-0 game, and then this week he beats a really good Western Carolina team who's preseason pick 2 in the Southern Conference, and is about as good as opponent as we'll face maybe all year. And he just pitched really well. He commanded the strike zone, really knocked down on his walks. I think he had 1 walk, 1 hits batsman, and had really good stuff for 6 innings. And to be honest, he probably could have gone on a little longer, but we went to the bullpen.
And that bullpen, you turn the ball over. Brett Schreiber gives you 2 scoreless innings, and then you go to the closer, Brian Verbitsky. He pitches a pretty easy 9th, picks up the save, 3rd save of the year, 3 wins for the team. He's got the saves in all 3 games. And also that save was his 11th of his career. He's now past former player of yours, Jeff Guthridge. Now he's in sole possession of 2nd place, 3 behind the all-time leader, Jeff Denley. What is Verbitsky? What has Verbitsky shown you this year? He's really been dominant in that closer role.
The thing that he's shown more confidence, I believe. I think he got it after going to the Cape Cod this summer. Being an all-star there, I think it really showed him he could compete against the best in the country. Had a really good first outing against Oklahoma, pitched really well in the 2nd outing. Oklahoma got the save at Bakersfield, and then another save down at Western Carolina. And to be honest, when you have a guy like Brian at the end of the bullpen, it just makes the pitching staff as a whole that much better. And you only have to play an 8-inning game now. And now with Brett Schreiber and Andrew Barbarino down in the bullpen, and Schilt and Dave Jesh, I mean, you're really shortening the games to 5 or 6-inning type games. And to be honest, I think that's the components of a good winning team is, good pitching and good defense, and try to get a lead and then hold it late.
Now you mentioned those guys in the bullpen. For the weekend, bullpen gives you 10 innings. They give up 7 hits, only 1 run, 13 strikeouts, I believe. I don't think you can ask for much more. As a coach, and like you said, it's a huge advantage to have those kind of arms in the bullpen for you.
I agree. It's not atypical Hofstra baseball, but something we definitely tried to switch here and make it a pitching oriented team, and with those guys coming out of the bullpen, it's been it's to be honest, it's being counted on. Like we're expecting them to shut people down. I think that's a good feeling, and I think if we would have got a little bit more of a quality starts from Tiedemann and Rogers, we would have had a little bit better weekend.
Now back to that game 1, 5-2 win, the offensive stars of the game. Kenny Jackson, home run, his 2nd of the year, another one later in the series. 2 RBIs from him, 2 RBIs from Robbie Caffiero, who's coming along now offensively, after a little slow start. Those guys seem to be a little bit locked in now at the plate. What are your thoughts?
Jackson had probably good as weekend as you could possibly have. I think he was 10 of 14 on quality at bats on the weekend. He had the 2 homers, and he really got locked in. I think his home run tied the game at 2. We're down 2-1, and he led off the inning with a homer to tie it. And it was great to see Caffiero come along and had a couple big hits, and he had a nice weekend. And he's somebody that we definitely need to count on to get the offense going.
Now you move to Sunday's doubleheader. You get swept 7-6 in game 1, 6-2 in game 2. Really ran into it was the Jacob Hoyle show for Western Carolina. There, he went 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 9 RBIs on the day. He also started on the mound in game 2 and got the win. Sometimes I know you run into a hot hand, and that was the case for you guys. But in that first game, you guys had the lead, gave it up in the fifth inning, hit a rally, and that was one of those innings where everything kind of went wrong. A leadoff home run, a wild pitch moves some runners up, batter gets hit with the bases loaded. What was your perspective from the dugout?
That's one of the things that's been our I guess our problem early on is the free bases, and the other thing is limiting a big inning, and we had another big inning. I think we gave up 4 that inning in the bad inning in the game 2, and against Oklahoma in their series we gave 7 innings of 3 runs or more, and against Bakersfield where we won 2 of 4 we had 0 innings where we gave up 3, and it's something we're definitely talking about is minimizing when things get bad, and maybe we left in there to tee him a little bit too much, but it just never seemed like a situation where we had a chance to pitch around Hoyle. You're like, well, how do you let him beat you? We came up twice with the bases loaded. 2 of his home runs were with 2 outs and a guy on first, so it wasn't like we didn't try to pitch around the guy. He just got really hot, and it seemed like every situation was somewhere we had to pitch to him, and it worked out poorly, and it's really bad to let one kid beat you, but that's what I kind of feel like we did this weekend.
Well, I guess a lot of teams had that happen to them last year with Danny Palmer, so
You're right.
It was a payback this year. Now let's turn our attention to the week ahead. Albany scheduled for Wednesday. Home opener part 2 after last week's got canceled. Played the Great Danes twice last year, won both games. What do you think they present for us this week?
I know Albany's really well coached by a good friend of mine, John Mueller, and I know his team's going to come in here and play really tough, hard-nosed baseball. They'll have good pitching, and they'll have they get after it. Just his personality is to play really tough baseball. The thing about Wednesday's game that's going to be real exciting for us, it'll be the season debut of David DeRico. We're going to get him back on the mound. He'll probably go somewhere between 30 and 40 pitches, and get a little bit of a process to get him going, to get him back, maybe about the 3rd conference series to get him back going around then.
Okay, and then you mentioned conference series. Conference weekend kicks off this weekend. Travel down to James Madison, play James Madison Dukes. Last year, James Madison had a down year by their standards, especially. Obviously, a historically good program, so you have to expect a turnaround from them. What do you look for this weekend?
Last year, they were preseason picked to win it all, and they had a lot of injuries and a lot of stuff go wrong, and they didn't have a good year. And we had a good year, but they still beat us 2 of 3 last year. I don't think we've won a series against them yet. And this year coming in, they were, I think, preseason 3, and so you're getting a matchup of the 2 and 3rd ranked team, and they played really well. I think they had a sweep of Hartford 4 games this weekend, and played Coastal Carolina really tough to open up their season. I know they've got a really veteran lineup, like guys with a lot of at-bats with Bladell and Tenaglia and McFarland coming back hitting-wise, and Patrick Torres, their number 1 starter, really dominated us last year in the opening night of our series as a freshman, and we really didn't do much against him. So, it's going to be a very daunting task for us to go down there and as our opening weekend. But it'll be a good Friday matchup of Berg and Torres, and then try to scratch out 2 of 3 there on the road.
All right. Well, it all starts on Wednesday with Albany at University Field in the Pride's home opener. 3 p.m. is game time. You can follow the live stats and audio at gohofstra.com. And then this weekend at James Madison as the Pride Open Colonial Athletic Association play. And thank you for joining us on the WB Mason Coach Report, and we'll see you here next week.